The Blue Jays lose a tough one in extra innings as they drop the game 8-4 to the Seattle Mariners, and they fall to 12-9 on the year. And it's a recurring thing going on right now with the offense. I can't beat up on them too bad because we have been winning games, but there is a concerning trend, and that has been the long ball. We thought we were starting to break free from that trend, but unfortunately it's still here biting us. And as we saw today, even when you are getting to some of these elite pitchers like Logan Gilbert, who was on the mound for the Mariners, stringing together 3, 4, 5 hits is just so hard to do with them, even when they're off their game, as Gilbert appeared to be this game. Now, we touched him up for 7 hits, I believe, on 4 2/3 innings pitched, and we were only able to force across a couple runs against him. And it's just not sustainable winning games like this when you can't run into one from time to time. And I'll show you what I mean. Right away in the first inning, we had Bo Bichette pop out and then Guerrero Jr. double to right on an absolute scorched line drive. I think it was 113 miles an hour. Santander singles him home and then Jimenez doubles. So you have second and third, 1 out. Springer strikes out, Kirky strikes out. So again, it's the clutch hitting, but it's also just the long ball needed. You can't string together 2, 3, 4 hits on these guys. And it's game after game after game, and it's becoming a real concern if we want to make a deep run this year and truly be a contender to make the playoffs or even, win a couple series in the playoffs. So it's something that's going to have to be addressed here shortly. In the third, again, Guerrero Jr. walks, Santander lines out. Jimenez singles, Springer pops out. Kirk hit by pitch. You get bases loaded. Rodon strikes out. No runs. So you get 3 different guys on base, and you're unable to push anything across because of timely hitting and the extra base hits. In the 5th inning, Seattle answers back as Williamson doubles to left. Crawford then walks. Polanco grounds out. Mastrobuoni sacrifices to pitcher. So you've got 2 outs there, 2 guys on. Cal Raleigh up. Now, the thought there was probably walk Cal Raleigh, get the bases loaded, and then attack Arozarena. They didn't go that way. I don't know whose call that is, and obviously it's really easy to look smart in hindsight, but it was a questionable decision in the moment for sure. Raleigh doubles to right, scoring Crawford and scoring Williamson before Arozarena is struck out, ending the inning. It's not the end of the world because it's only 2-1 Seattle at this point in the top of the 5th, so there's lots of game left. A 2-1 game shouldn't be insurmountable, and it ultimately wasn't. Logan Gilbert comes out for the bottom of the 5th, and we were able to chase him after 4 2/3 when Jimenez steals second base after getting on a single, and then Kirky singles him home, making it 2-2. So we chase Gilbert in the 5th for Snyder, who comes in and gets Rodon to ground out to the pitcher, and that was a scary collision at first. As I'll pop a clip in now, Alan Rodon runs into Rowdy Tellez full speed, and Tellez did not budge. Rodon hits the ground hard. I was concerned that he might have had like a flash knockout or something. It looked really bad in real time. Fortunately, on the replay, it didn't look quite as bad, and he was able to pop back up to his feet fairly soon and get back out there and not leave the game. So props to him for being such a tough kid, but that was a scary incident. Pitchers are still, holding it down. We've had a lot of base runners at this point, a lot of singles, a lot of walks, kind of for both sides, really, but it's still just a 2-2 game. And then in the bottom of the 6th, the Blue Jays play some small ball and get the lead as Straw sacrifices Clement over to second, and then Bichette is able to single him home, making it 3-2 Blue Jays. The way that our bullpen's been and the way that our pitching staff in general has been, you're taking these 1 runs when you can get them because we have been winning a lot of ball games like that, but it just didn't work out as Barrios goes back out for the 7th, and Williamson homers off him right away. Bring in Brendan Little after that. He shuts down the inning, but it's now 3-3 through the top of the 7th. And it remained that way all the way up until, let me scroll down. If you didn't know, this one did go 12 innings. So we go all the way to the top of the 12th with Jacob Barnes in. Rodriguez comes in, he flies out to center field, but Crawford is able to advance to third. Again, they have the ghost runner on second base there that starts the inning in extras. Rivas walks, Raleigh walks, Rivas moves up to second. Arozarena singles, scoring Crawford. Raleigh moves up to second, Rivas to third, so you have bases loaded again. And Rowdy Tellez, the ex-Blue Jay, hits a grand slam, making it 8-3. So at this point, I understand it if you want to say, why do we have Jacob Barnes in there? They had said before that Jimmy and Hoffman were both unavailable, and these guys only have really 50 games in them in a season, and a season is 162 games long, so you can't go to Jimmy and Hoffman every single game if you're going to be playing these tight games, game in and game out. That's where it's nice to either lose a blowout or win a blowout every now and then, so you can kind of rest some of those guys. But yeah, unfortunately, it goes 12 innings, tons of missed opportunities, and ultimately I'm pinning this one on the offense for not getting more done in the first inning, in any of these innings. In the bottom of the ninth with a chance to walk it off, Bichette leads off with a single, Guerrero Jr. singles, and then Santander lines out, Jimenez pops out, and Springer grounds out. So you had your first 2 runners on with the chance to walk it off in the ninth, and you're unable to do anything with your next 3 batters. And then obviously in extras, you're the home team. You get the second round every inning, and in the 10th and the 11th, they were unable to do anything. So the bullpen held in for as long as they could, the pitching held in for as long as they could, and finally they ran into it in the 12th. And like I say, I can't blame it on the pitching, I can't blame it on the defense. This falls on the hitting. They had too many opportunities. I'll flip over to the box score to see the final tallies here. We had 12 hits and 4 walks. And unfortunately, that's just not good enough for us, as we've got to be better with the runners in scoring position going 3 for 19 and leaving 14 on base. It's not sustainable. We've been a little bit lucky to this point, winning as many games and looking as good as we have in all of these tight games, and the bullpen has had to be perfect. The sacrifice bunts have had to be on time, no mistakes, and we've had to really be executing really well to get these W's, and it's not going to be sustainable over the course of a year, especially as you're facing this good pitching. You need to run into some home runs, and I do value the small ball. I like that we're able to do it. I like that Miles Straw was able to come in today and lay down a sac bunt and lead to the Bichette scoring him on a single. I like being able to play small ball and getting a run here and there, but you need to supplement it with the long ball. And we've been making excuses for this team for long enough now. We're over 20 games into the year. We need to start seeing some home runs. Enough is enough. Bo Bichette is hitting 300. That's great. If that's his new, if he's now an Arias type where he's just going to strictly hit singles and maybe the odd double and just get on base a lot with singles and doubles, and he's totally foregone the power, okay, leave him in the leadoff spot and we'll go with that. But then you've got to be getting more power out of Guerrero Jr. and Santander. That's what they're paid for. I don't care about Vladdy's 120-mile-an-hour ground balls. I don't care about his 115-mile-an-hour doubles. They've got to go over the wall. Other guys are hitting 105-mile-an-hour with some launch angle, and they're getting home runs, and they're putting 2 and 3 runs on the board. So I don't really care how hard of a ground ball you're hitting at this stage. I like it. He's a good hitter. He hits the ball hard, but at the end of the day, the runs are what win the game. And if a guy's hitting something a lot softer than you with proper launch angle and putting runs on the board, and you're hitting the absolute piss out of the ball into the ground, it only does so much to move me after so long, right? We're at 21 games now, and he's only hit the 1 big fly. Santander has only got, the 2 home runs right now? He's looked a lot better lately, and I'm not shitting on either one of these guys. I'm not saying that they're being terrible by any means, but they need to put some runs on the board, and they need the quick strike offense out of these guys. That's what they're paid to be for this team. Jimenez is doing a good job. He was 3 for 6. He got on base. He stole second. He got himself into scoring position. He's doing his part for what his skill set is, but the guys that hit the big flies need to start doing that. Enough is enough at this point, and we need to get it going if we want to make a real run at this thing, be a playoff team, and maybe even win some playoff games this year. The pitching is great. The defense is great. Now we need to supplement this offense with some big flies. That is the next gaping hole that needs to be shored up on this team moving forward. Anyways, did you guys watch the game? Let me know your thoughts below, all right? Drop a comment. We'll talk to you guys later, all right?